Well, good morning everybody. Today we're working on a Pro Star with a Maxxforce. I'm going to do the crankcase oil separator and jet plate, and I'll also go over how to check the jet plate while you're in there if you're not doing it for whatever reason. But to get started here, we're going to do this charge air pipe. So on this truck, that one there is a 15, that one there is a 16, and that clamp there is a 13, and it looks like this one here is also going to be, where'd it go, right there, a 13. So we'll get that off and we'll be right back to you. So fishing that little guy out of there is not the most fun ever, but you just pop it loose from the turbo on that end, put it new, and just fish it out. It's to note, this O-ring and the inlet O-ring on the high pressure turbo are the exact same part number. So just get two of those. So you'll notice this truck has a water filter on it. It is going to make it a little more difficult, but not terrible. So the next one's going to be this tube here. Comes in from the air filter and it goes onto the low pressure turbo. That's an O-ring fit down there. And it's got that there. Looks to be an 11 millimeter. I'm pretty sure there's one more, but if it is, I'm sure we'll find it. Stay tuned. So make sure you unplug your sensors, you know where they go. That one pops right off. You see this one's got a little lock. You pop that yellow thing out and you'll be able to unplug it. And the other bolt, guys, is right there on the bottom. And so I'll get that off and we'll continue on. All right, everybody, so this nut right here that holds the lines on was a 13. That one there was a 10 millimeter. And then up top here, let's see if I can find it. Right there, you got another 10 mil to that holds the lines tight, so you got to pull that loose, and then that tube should come off. All right, we got that hose out. Now to do this job, even per international, you do not have to drain the coolant. As you can see, I've got a pretty bad hose there. So these hoses down here are gonna get replaced. So I do have the cooling system drained just to give me a little more room. I also, all right, Tiki Talk, we got her all taken apart there. I wanted to show you guys how to check this. So that is the jet plate. And the jet is that little orifice right there. And you get a 3/32 Allen key or a 2.5 millimeter. And if it'll fit inside the jet, you see this one won't, that means it is, this one's good, which obviously it's new. So over here we got the old one that's still in the truck. Same Allen key, it fits right up in there and there's a ton of play. So it is very much wore out. Hot dog down a hallway type of thing. And so yeah, that's wore out, and that's why it's spitting oil out the road draft tube. So the more you know, the more you know. And really, it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't let a shop do this. It's just some basic hand tools, you can get it all done. So have a great day. Hello there everybody, we're back at her this morning. And we're getting the jet plate off. And I just want to talk to you guys about this. So they're T45s. That's the bolts that hold it down. And the back two are a real pain in the butt. The front two, no big deal. Impactor, 3/8 ratchet, comes right off. But on the back, I had to rig that up. So it's the T45 socket and then an 8 millimeter wrench on the shank portion. And that's a ratcheting wrench. And that actually made life real easy getting it out of there. Not having to go buy any other tools or anything like that. So I'm gonna get that off, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath when we're done, and then we'll start putting her back together. All right, so we got her off. It was stuck pretty good. Had to get a little western with it. There's a lot of dirt and junk down there that builds up around it. I'm gonna do my best to clean that up a little better, and I'm gonna put the other one on. All right, so all these threads, all these housing and threads are aluminum. The bolts are mild steel, obviously. So I like to put some silicone on it. Not silicone, some anti-seize. That's stuff I'm using today. Just put a little on the tip of the bolt there, just to help it out. We all know how steel and aluminum get along, especially if you're running up north in the weather. All right, got it in there. I wanted to point out a couple things. Make sure that the gasket little tabs there, that one there on the left side of the screen for the black O-ring, and that right there, make sure you get those in right so you don't put the gasket in upside down and have a sealing issue. And then this is the redesigned unit or whatever. There's no core charge on it, and it's actually a lot cheaper than the original. But here, right here, you'll see these bolts are recessed down, and this is actually tapered to where it goes under the EGR cooler. That should make it a lot easier going back in. We fought the old one getting it out. We actually finally had to pry it out, and it was a pain in the butt. So we'll get this in here, and then I'll show you guys the trick to get to the back bolt. I didn't do that when I took it apart, so I want to make sure I show you that. All right, so it did fit in there quite a bit easier. I did have to take this bracket off down there for the road draft tube to give a little more wiggle room. See, it's all back together up there. And so there's a bolt, that one right there. It's a pretty pain to get to, but here's what I came up with. I've got a long extension and a short extension, and the wobbly. The extensions are wobbly, or as my dad called them, broken neck extensions. But that fits right up in there, and it'll help you get it on and get it off. All right, guys, so there is your part number from International for the high pressure turbo O-ring inlet, and the outlet takes the exact same O-ring. It just goes on the tube. And that's that. So we're gonna start putting this all back together and getting it finished up. Something to note, when you pop this out, this inlet off of the high pressure turbo, you got an O-ring fitting right there, comes off, and then the oil feed line to the turbos right there. Yeah, come on. So much crap in the way. Right there. Maybe over here was better. Right there. That line goes on there, and that's what feeds all of your turbos. So make sure you get that good. Make sure the O-rings are good, obviously, before you put it back together. Okay, guys, so here's your part number for the blue O-ring that goes on the turbo, the low pressure turbo inlet. Right down there, you can see there's some residue left over from the old one that's blue. And then something else to point out, this piece right here, it's really bad. I think this was some of my leak as well. And this coolant line here goes down, around, over and under, and ends up right back there. I think they were loose. Actually, I know it was loose. The stud that holds it in place was loose. So I got that. But what I'm pointing out is you want to take this off before you try to get that high pressure inlet tube hooked up. So you got that going. You want to take that off. And then I'm going to get some brake cleaner tonight and clean this up real good. But for now, I'm going to work on my hoses there and there. Got something from the House of Hose there I think will work. I'll work on that. All right, Tiki Talk. DIY tip of the day, because I'm sure the techs already know. You ever have a problem with these boots slipping off, especially under high boost conditions? And this truck makes, right at 50 pounds of boost, 48 to 50. So make sure they're clean. As you see, mine are not. They still need to be clean. A little brake cleaner and paper towel handle that. Go grab your wife or girlfriend's hairspray. White Rain works the best, but this is what's in the bathroom today. And spray down. Put it on nice and thick, best you can, all the way around. Smells good too. And let it dry to where it's tacky. Then tighten your clamps up to torque spec, and your problem will be good. And the only reason it won't be is if your clamps are garbage or your boots are garbage. Could get you off the side of the road or anything though. More you know. Get back up and running. Just a few more things to do.